If you manage rental properties, accounting can get messy fast. Rent payments, expenses, deposits, owner payouts, maintenance costs, reports, and tax prep can all end up spread across bank accounts, spreadsheets, payment apps, and random receipts. So in this video, we're looking at some of the best accounting property management software. So whether you manage a few long-term rentals, a growing portfolio, or vacation rentals, this should help you find the tool that actually matches the way you run your business. Timestamps are below to jump straight to the tool you're considering, and in the description, you'll find our partners' current discounts and free trials. Let's get started. 1. Baselane. Baselane feels less like property management software and more like a financial control center for landlords. Instead of trying to manage every part of the rental business, it zooms in on the part that usually gets messy first: rent payments, bank accounts, expenses, cash flow, and tax prep. So if your rental finances are spread across a personal bank account, a spreadsheet, a payment app, and a folder full of receipts, this is where Baselane starts to make sense. Baselane replaces that patchwork setup with landlord banking, online rent collection, bookkeeping, reporting, and tenant screening in one place. The banking side is what makes Baselane stand out compared with many other landlord tools. You can create property-specific accounts, separate money by rental, keep reserves more organized, and avoid mixing rent deposits, repairs, mortgage payments, utilities, and security deposits in one general account. You can also use physical and virtual debit cards, which helps you control spending by property or purpose. Rent collection is also tied directly into the financial workflow. You can invite tenants to pay online, set up recurring rent charges, send reminders, collect deposits and late fees, and track who is paid and who is overdue. Since the payments can flow into the accounts you choose, rent collection and bookkeeping are not treated as two separate jobs. The bookkeeping tools are really the core of why Baselane fits this particular roundup. Transactions can be tracked by property and category, so you can see income, expenses, cash flow, rent roll, tenant ledgers, and tax-related reports without manually updating a spreadsheet every week. The free core plan covers the essentials for banking, bookkeeping, and rent collection, while Baselane Smart adds more automation, including auto-tagging, custom rules, receipt matching, custom categories, balance sheet reports, and shared access. Baselane also includes tenant screening, which gives it some property management functionality, but I would not position it as a full leasing platform. It is useful when you need to evaluate a tenant, but Baselane is strongest after you already have rentals to manage and want the financial side to run more smoothly. So overall, Baselane is best for independent landlords and real estate investors who want cleaner books, better banking structure, automated rent collection, and property-level financial reporting without paying for a heavy property management system. If your biggest priority is accounting and cash flow, Baselane is one of the most relevant tools in this category. But if you need a full operating system for leasing, maintenance, owners, residents, and a larger team, Baselane is better seen as a financial hub rather than your entire property management platform. If you want to give it a try, Baselane offers our audience a $150 cash bonus, so make sure to check out the link in the description. 2. DoorLoop. DoorLoop is where the accounting side of property management starts to feel more connected to the actual day-to-day work. You are not just tracking rent and expenses in a separate bookkeeping tool. You are managing accounting alongside tenants, leases, maintenance, vendors, owners, reports, and payments. That makes DoorLoop more useful once your rentals need more structure, but you still want the software to feel modern and approachable. The best way to think about DoorLoop is that it sits somewhere between basic landlord tools and heavier property management systems. The accounting side includes bank account setup, opening balances, bank syncing, transaction tracking, rent payments, expenses, reports, and QuickBooks integration. DoorLoop lets you create bank accounts, enter opening balances, connect accounts through Plaid, and assign specific bank accounts to specific properties. That is important because once you are managing more than one rental, the hard part is not just collecting rent. It is knowing which money belongs to which property, which tenant, which owner, and which account. DoorLoop also connects payments more directly to the accounting workflow. Tenants can pay online, and those payments can flow into the system instead of being tracked manually somewhere else. You can also record expenses, pay vendors, and if you manage properties for other owners, send owner payments through the payment tools. That makes DoorLoop feel more like an accounting command center for property management rather than a simple landlord finance app. What makes DoorLoop more useful as you grow is the context around the numbers. It gives you more reporting and operational context around the numbers. You are not just looking at rent collected and expenses paid. Tenants can pay online by ACH, card, or other supported methods, while you can track what has been paid, what is overdue, and what still needs attention. You can also connect payments to leases, automate reminders, and keep a cleaner record of rent activity without chasing everything manually. You can also connect that financial data to leases, tenants, properties, maintenance, applications, and owners. So if you want a clearer view of how your rental business is performing, DoorLoop gives you more structure than a spreadsheet or a basic bookkeeping tool. DoorLoop also covers the operational side, which is why it works better as property management software than a pure accounting tool. Tenants can submit maintenance requests, you can manage vendors and tasks, leases can be created and signed digitally, and the dashboard gives you a clear view of requests, payments, renewals, and open items. Compared with something like Baselane, DoorLoop is much more of a full property management platform. Baselane is great for banking, bookkeeping, and rental finances, but DoorLoop goes further with leasing, maintenance, portals, owner communication, and portfolio operations. DoorLoop is also not the cheapest option if you only manage a few rentals. If you just need free rent collection, basic leases, and simple maintenance tracking, tools like Inago or TurboTenant may be enough. But overall, DoorLoop is a great fit if you want accounting-focused property management software that feels modern, organized, and practical. It is especially useful if you manage a growing portfolio, work with owners, need cleaner financial reporting, and want your accounting, rent collection, leases, maintenance, and portals connected in one system. 3. TenantCloud. TenantCloud sits in that middle lane between simple landlord apps and heavier property management systems. It gives you enough accounting structure to manage income, expenses, vendors, reports, and owner-related payments without jumping straight into a heavier system like Appfolio. The accounting section gives you a clear place to manage money in and money out. You can see outstanding, paid, and overdue transactions, then break things down by income or expense. You can create income invoices, expense invoices, recurring rent charges, recurring expenses, deposits, owner contributions, management fees, and owner distributions. So instead of only tracking rent after it hits your bank account, you can manage more of the financial workflow inside the platform. Where TenantCloud becomes especially useful is expense tracking. You can add a vendor or service pro, create an expense invoice, choose a category, attach it to a property, add tags, mark it as paid, and then see it inside your transaction history. That makes it helpful if you want a cleaner record of repairs, renovations, supplies, utilities, or other rental expenses without digging through bank statements later. The reconciliation feature is also a big part of the accounting story. Once your bank account is connected, TenantCloud can show your bank statement balance, your TenantCloud balance, and the difference between the two. Then you can match expenses or income payments from your bank statement to the invoices already recorded in TenantCloud. This is useful because it helps you catch missing transactions, duplicate records, or payments that were recorded in the software, but do not line up with the bank. TenantCloud also gives you a few practical reports for understanding how your rentals are performing. If you own and manage your own properties, you can use reports like the property statement, property expenses, and general expenses to see money coming in, money going out, and which costs belong to each property. You can also switch between cash and accrual views in some reports, which is helpful if you want more control over how your numbers are shown. If you are a property manager, TenantCloud goes a bit further. You can look at operating statements, profit and loss reports, owner statements, management fees, owner distributions, and owner contributions. That means you can use it not only to track your own rental expenses, but also to manage money between tenants, owners, and your property management business. Another nice detail is how expenses can connect with the rest of the platform. For example, if a maintenance request leads to a repair cost, you can attach the expense directly to that maintenance ticket. That gives you more context than a regular accounting app because you can see not just what you spent, but why you spent it and which property or issue it belonged to. Where TenantCloud starts to feel limited is deeper accounting. If you need more advanced trust accounting, detailed GL controls, complex owner accounting, or very robust financial workflows, tools like Baselane or Appfolio may be stronger. And if you only want simple landlord banking, tax reports, and clean bookkeeping, Baselane or DoorLoop are a better fit. So overall, TenantCloud is best for landlords and smaller property managers who want accounting connected to everyday rental management. It gives you rent tracking, expense recording, reconciliation, reports, service pro records, maintenance-related expenses, management fees, and owner workflows in one place. It is not the most advanced accounting platform here, but it gives you a solid balance between usability, property management features, and financial tracking. 4. Appfolio. Appfolio is built for the point where rental accounting stops being simple bookkeeping and turns into a real property management operation. This is not the tool I would put in front of a landlord with 1 or 2 units who just wants to track income, expenses, and tax category. Appfolio makes more sense when you are dealing with larger portfolios, owner reporting, management fees, trust accounting, teams, and more complex financial workflows. Maybe you manage a larger number of units, work with owners, have a team, handle maintenance requests, collect rent online, run leasing workflows, and need financial reporting that connects to everything happening across the portfolio. The accounting side is one of the main reasons Appfolio belongs in this roundup. You get property accounting and reports, bank feeds, bill entry, bill approval workflows, budgeting tools, owner statements, income statements, cash flow reports, balance sheets, bank account activity, delinquency reports, and more advanced reporting depending on the plan. So instead of keeping your accounting separate from your leasing, maintenance, payments, and resident communication, Appfolio puts everything inside one system. That can be a big advantage if your business is getting harder to manage with spreadsheets or basic landlord apps. You can track rent payments, expenses, bills, owner-related reporting, and portfolio performance without constantly moving data between different tools. And because Appfolio also includes things like maintenance, inspections, communication, marketing, leasing, and resident portals, it gives you much more operational context behind the numbers. Another reason Appfolio stands out is scalability. It is built for property management companies and larger operators, not just casual DIY landlords. So if you are trying to standardize processes across a growing team, manage different property types, or get better visibility into your portfolio, Appfolio gives you a more complete system than most landlord-focused accounting tools. The trade-off is that Appfolio can be too much software if your needs are simple. It has a minimum unit requirement, pricing is quote-based, and some of the more advanced accounting, budgeting, data, and workflow features are tied to higher plans. Some users also mention that support, customization, and certain accounting workflows can be frustrating at times, especially if you need more flexibility or quick help with a specific issue. So overall, Appfolio is best for property managers and larger landlords who want accounting, reporting, rent collection, maintenance, leasing, resident communication, and owner workflows in one platform. If you only need clean books for a small rental portfolio, it may feel too heavy. But if your property business is big enough that accounting needs to connect with the rest of your operations, Appfolio is one of the strongest full-suite options in this category. 5. Guesty. Guesty is a different kind of accounting tool because short-term rentals create a different kind of accounting problem. You are not just collecting the same rent payment every month. You are dealing with reservations, booking channels, cleaning fees, taxes, owner payouts, guest payments, adjustments, and revenue splits. That is why Guesty makes more sense for vacation rental managers than for traditional long-term landlords. So if your business is built around Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, direct bookings, cleaning fees, owner payouts, guest payments, and changing reservation data, Guesty is built much more around that short-term rental workflow. The accounting side starts with the business model. This is where Guesty defines how revenue, fees, expenses, and commissions should be handled between your property management company and the owner. So instead of manually working out who gets paid what after every booking, you can create rules that help split revenue and generate the right accounting entries automatically. The folio is another important part of the system. Guesty describes it as a live view of the accounting information that updates from reservation changes. That is useful because short-term rental accounting can get messy quickly. A booking might include the nightly rate, taxes, cleaning fees, channel fees, deposits, owner charges, vendor payments, and other adjustments. The folio gives you a more organized place to see what is happening financially for each property or reservation. Guesty also puts a lot of emphasis on owner statements. This matters if you manage properties on behalf of owners and need to show them what happened during a given period. You can summarize revenue, expenses, payments, and payout status, then review, approve, customize, and send statements individually or in bulk. That makes Guesty more useful for vacation rental managers who need to keep owners informed without building every statement manually. The posting journal is where Guesty starts to feel more like a serious accounting tool. You can see journal entries, filter them, customize the columns, export the data, and work with your chart of accounts. So if you need a clearer audit trail of what happened across your properties, Guesty gives you more detail than a basic booking calendar or channel manager. You also get financial reports like owner activity, owner balances, disbursements, and other property-level reports. These help you see how each property is performing, what is owed, what has been paid, and where the money is going. For a short-term rental operator, that is more useful than a simple rent roll, because the business model is very different from long-term rentals. To sum it up, if you manage a serious short-term rental business, Guesty belongs in the conversation. It is best for vacation rental managers who need accounting connected to bookings, owners, statements, folios, revenue splits, reports, and payouts. If your accounting headaches come from short-term rental complexity rather than basic landlord bookkeeping, Guesty is one of the more relevant tools to consider.